Hello, hey, hi, how you doing? Mitchell Lee here with you alongside Connor Vandermark and Nick Izzo. We are the Jersey Nerds, and it's time for the weekly recess. Time to talk about whatever the hell this last week of football was. Week 14, we got a room full of winners here. Two Jets fans, a Tommy DeVito Giants fan,
Tommy
and
Cutlets.
somehow,
Hey.
somehow, Tommy ducked this one. Don't know why. We'll get to them as we get to Monday Night Football. But guys, New York, home full of winners and AFC and NFC quarterbacks, players of the week. As much as I love Tommy DeVito, I don't know how that happened. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know how that happened either. Beats me.
yeah. I mean, he didn't have a bad week at all. He played very well. And I'm kind of surprised that Zach Wilson got it for the Jets as well as he played. I kind of thought that might be like a Lamar Jackson thing. And then in the NFC, I thought maybe Debo Samuel would get that one for San Fran or Brock Purdy. But New York, lots of love. But this week was chaos. I'll open the floor. I'm not going to start with anything in particular because what stood out to you guys among the chaos? Let's just pick through the rubble.
Simple. A hockey score in a football game. Three
We have to
nothing
start
shutout.
off with Vikings Raiders.
Oh, it was a garbage game, but I just say that
Oh
was
my god.
definitely a. I saw it come through the score bug. I'm like, ew, no.
Lowest scoring NFL
Uh,
game in 16 years. Since the Pittsburgh Steelers Miami Dolphins Monday night game that just I remember a punt just landed in the mud in that game to let you know kind of what everyone was dealing with. Nick Mullins comes in for Josh Dobbs. He is benched. I kind of told people don't expect this to last with Dobbs. I didn't expect it to fall off quite this quickly and suddenly and terribly as it has, but not having Justin Jefferson again doesn't help because he's out with a back injury now. And I don't know when, I think he'll be back this week, but even then, now he's trying to play through two different injuries.
yeah, that's not definitely good for the Vikings. Their hopes are dwindling even after they did win.
It was
That's a
amazing
win.
all the pastronaut memes
Oof.
that you'd see, and then just how quickly those have subsided. Now that he has not done as well as he did for the 2 3 weeks.
We'll keep the NFC North thing going with the Lions too. 28-13 against the Bears, and frankly, that wasn't a game that they were in at all. That was Bears from the jump, and now they have lost two of their last three games, and they really tried to give away the game that they won against the Saints. They have not won convincingly since that Monday night game against the Raiders. It's been a weird stretch for the Lions. I still feel like they are the team to beat in the NFC North, but any hope of them kind of going further than maybe one playoff win has kind of been dashed. And then the Packers. Everyone was
Like,
feeling great about them. Jordan Love was playing fantastic football. And then Tommy Cutlets just comes out and cuts them to shreds.
Tommy.
They could run. They ran for 209 yards on the Packers. The Giants just took whatever they wanted against that Packers defense.
And by my math, so if we're thinking of the best teams in the NFL, right? I mean, debatable, but if we're just going to throw the Chiefs there, now the Packers beat the Chiefs and the Giants beat the Packers, so I think the Giants are the best team, obviously. I think
don't
that's
I
don't get
just I think that's just the obvious answer here.
I know we're gonna
Clearly,
get to
there's no
them.
other better team. No, I'm kidding,
I
obviously.
I know we're gonna
yeah
get
don't
to
get
them, but I don't think I'd put the Chiefs on that level right now.
I wouldn't
No.
either.
I just
No.
don't. I think, and I don't think it's recency bias to say that I like the Bills more, even though they won, and it was by the skin of their teeth, and by the you know the top part of a shoe, maybe. But the Bills just look like Josh Allen's kind of clicking. The defense is playing better than it has, and the Chiefs, something ain't right.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like as someone who, like, their defense has still been stellar, and that's the only reason that they're still sniffing around as playing as well as they has been, because their offense has been, let's be real, it has not lived up to expectation. No, Mahomes is still doing Mahomes things, but like I feel like the pieces around him, I guess with the exception of Kelsey, who he is getting older, it's like they're not producing as much as they should.
Mahomes has still been doing Mahomes things. He's been playing very well, but this is probably the weakest regular season of his career.
Yeah.
And again, still been very, very
Certainly
good.
seems
Still
that way.
been top 5, top 7 quarterback in the National Football League. But we are used to him being top 2, top 3, if not top 1. And he just hasn't been that this year. And you can make the case that a lot of that has been, well, he's throwing it to people that won't refuse to catch the ball. I don't know what to tell you there. I still think they are the clear cut. Like if I hear the Broncos are going to pass the Chiefs, no, the Chiefs are still going to win the AFC West. I'm not worried about that. I'm not really worried about the Broncos in general, to be honest. They kind of just seem like a team destined to go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. But the Chiefs just don't really strike fear in me the same way the Ravens do. The Ravens are very well rounded. Found a way to win that game against the Rams. Is there a team in the AFC that you guys like? Because right now it just seems like Cowboys and Eagles, or sorry, not Eagles. They kind of fell off the perch. Cowboys, Niners, and the rest.
Honestly, I'm liking the Ravens. The Ravens have gotten healthy. Their offense has been clicking. Like they have been winning. I think the only real spot on their resume in the past 8 weeks has been the Browns game, and that's again your usual AFC, your AFC North. Who knows what's going to happen game? Because no matter what, you don't know. And it turns out this happened to be not a gridiron match, but actually a competitive game. Being a 64-point over game against the Browns. Who sees that coming? But overall, like they have played some weaker teams as of late, but they get the job done. They're going to see how good they are against the Jaguars and 49ers, both on the road next 2 weeks. So I'm intrigued how that's going to.
They have a gauntlet the next 3 weeks. I'm looking forward to
The
see
Dolphins
how they
too.
handle it. Yeah, at Jacksonville, at San Francisco versus Miami. And so that'll really determine if they're able to hold on to that 1 seed. But the last few years, they've gone into, I want to say, Thanksgiving with the 1 seed, and then Lamar gets hurt. And then things kind of tumble down from there.
If he stays healthy, then.
Yeah, that's the thing. For me, it's can Lamar stay healthy? Because like they're getting something out of Odell Beckham Jr. now too. And that was kind of, they needed, that was always the thing with Lamar. Lamar was kind of in the situation that Mahomes is in now. You got a great tight end. Can you get some receivers around you that can make some plays and stay healthy? And with Odell Beckham Jr. and Zay Flowers now, and Isaiah Likely's been a really good backup tight end for them as well. They've finally found guys that can step up and make plays for Lamar.
Yeah, and giving the weapons, him being an elite quarterback, it's the opposite situation Mahomes is dealing with right now, where Mahomes has nothing, and Lamar actually has weapons that he can throw to that are making plays for him down the field. And keep in mind too, they lost their number 1 running back, and they've been running off with the Gus Bus, who has been playing very well.
Keaton Mitchell's been a really good spark for them.
Him too. That's right, the young kid too.
Yep.
Speaking about elite quarterbacks, Joe Flacco still doing things. I had to do
I
that
don't-
transition. I had to.
God.
I don't know if I would go as far as to say elite because
Oh
he
yeah,
did
I'm well
have
aware
a
of that.
few where he threw right to Jacksonville.
That was
I
tongue in
will-
cheek.
yeah.
I will say this much: not many people are talking about him. Kevin Stefanski for Coach of the Year, maybe. If this team makes the playoffs with all the stuff they've had going on,
Oh yeah,
they
yeah.
have not missed a beat offensively. And Flacco's pretty much been in a situation where it's like, hey, we're going to do a lot of play action. They don't have the run threat the way that they did when Baker was there. Because that was one of the big criticisms of Baker is, well, he just uses a bunch of play action. It's like, well, when you got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt running the ball, use that because everyone's going to respect the run game. Their run game isn't really it's nowhere near as dominant as it was. So you've got Flacco throwing the ball to Njoku, Cooper, and Elijah Moore, finding a way to make it work, even though their defense hasn't quite been the dominant force that it's been in prior weeks. I'm impressed with them, and they look at tale of two teams when you talk about the Browns and the Steelers right now, because they were in very similar situations where the quarterback wasn't quite getting things done, but the defense was. They were going to make plays.
Yeah.
The Browns handled their business against Jacksonville. Meanwhile, the Steelers have lost 2 straight at home to the Cardinals and Patriots.
Steelers, it's a sinking ship.
Two games that I thought they would win.
2 games most people thought they would. I think they were favored by like a touchdown plus.
Yeah.
In both of those games, definitely against the Cardinals. I think they were double-digit favorites in that game.
Yep, I lost both of those games for the Pick'em League that I'm in, and I looked at that and I was like, how do you lose to that? Because usually the Steelers offense doesn't really get it going, but it's kind of like their defense, and like they just like grind out long drives with field goals, and I guess I thought that they would win, and I was clearly mistaken.
Are we taking Jake Browning seriously here?
Like,
Yeah, that silence wasn't
I
too
don't
much
think-
of a ringing endorsement.
no, that's definitely not. Like,
I don't
there's
think
nothing really
seriously.
to write home about.
Yeah, it's just like it's nice for now, but
He's
kind
kept them
of
afloat.
like with kind of like with Josh Dobbs though, and sort of similarly to how I kind of feel about Tommy DeVito deep down. It's like how long is this really gonna last?
No, you don't.
It's like
Come on, man.
how long is this really going to last? I mean, we can enjoy it for now, obviously, but is it gonna have any like permanent effect to it? Obviously not.
Well, they've got the Vikings coming up next, so it's going to be Mullins versus Browning in Cincinnati, and that's actually a very important football game.
Like, at least for their schedule, with the exception of the Chiefs game, the Steelers and the Browns are still on their slate. So, it isn't like they're out of it. Like, they put up 30. Like, it's the Colts who have a more weaker defense, but they did play well against the Jaguars, who were decent. Oh, I think we just lost Nick. And like they have their own destiny. It looks like to me, and like if he keeps performing, like Jamar Chase and Mixon are still playing to the level they have been, and like if they keep executing when they need to execute and make those game-winning plays, you can't complain.
Do you think they can make the playoffs with Browning?
I was actually looking at that earlier today when I was sitting on my couch because I was very intrigued because I saw that was the NFC. They have the wild cards at 6 and 7 team, and then the I think it was the AFC had a 7-6 wild card team sitting in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
They have
pulling
a
up the
ton
pool
of
right
7-6
now.
teams.
Yeah, it's a log jam. Let's see. Yeah, you have. Ugh. So they had to hop over two of, let's say, Bills, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Steelers out of the 7-6 teams. I think the Steelers will drop. I don't see them, like, this might be the first time Mike Tomlin might have a losing record in God knows how long. Or
Ever.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Wish him luck, but I wouldn't bet on it. Then you have
Sure.
the Colts are kind of just like floating around. Like, if I would choose,
They had a major opportunity this week against Cincinnati, and they didn't really show up in the second half of that game.
and Texans had an opportunity too, and they didn't show up at all.
Man, it was rough for them because everyone
No, not at
either
all.
was hurt or got hurt,
Yep.
and
Like,
they couldn't. And even before that, they couldn't move the ball at all with C.J. Stroud, and then Stroud got hurt. So that was really a worst case scenario type of game for Houston.
it really showed the importance of Nico Collins and Tank Dell on that offense, because they have been playing fantastic for them for the whole year.
And Dalton Schultz. They didn't have their starting tight end in there either.
And also, who's the rookie? Who's the rookie wide receiver they have too? I can't think of his name.
Tank Dell?
No, there's a
Definitely.
third one.
Xavier Hutchinson.
Yeah, like, they were definitely depleted, and that was a game they needed to win, and now they're in this dogfight. I still think the Texans will make the playoffs. That's because their schedule does look pretty juicy for themselves. Because I think the Colts
would take
twice.
them. Because, okay, if we're getting into official wild card predictions here, Browns, Bills, because I think Bills just proved they can beat anybody, and I do think they beat Dallas this weekend.
Oh, that's a bold statement, my friend.
Browns, Bills, it's in Buffalo. Dallas is a lot worse outdoors. And I think I'm going to give that last spot to Houston. Either Houston or Cincinnati.
Yeah, that is true.
Jake Browning.
I do think Cincinnati sneaks in for a wild card.
I would say I think Houston gets in.
I think they just
they have two
sneak
Titans
in.
games coming up. That's the ones I was thinking of. Got to deal with Mayo Levis. And
All right.
then,
Speaking. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I think Houston gets in. I think Buffalo is looking good. They are. Yeah, I guess I would go Buffalo. Them finishing 9. I would say they'll finish 9-6 and sneak in, because there's no one else really daunting at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're saying about Mr. Levis?
I was gonna say, speaking of the Mayo man, let's play a little game real quick.
Oh, I love games.
It's called How Much on a Scale of 1 to 10 do you buy into what we saw this weekend from a particular team?
Okay.
All right?
He's not here right now.
So we're gonna start with the Miami Dolphins. How much do you buy into given what we just saw this week?
I would say, I'll give him a 6.
I guess this is like a panic meter type of deal for the Dolphins specifically.
Like, let's be real. We've discussed this before. They can beat bad teams, but they can't beat good teams. And if we consider the Titans a good team either, like, no. I don't. And that was the real, like, they can make the playoffs, but will they do anything? Probably not. Like, I can see them being primed for a first round exit.
Nick?
I think I would also give it like a 5.5, much for the same reason of it kind of shows you the lack of, I guess, production or creativity they might have when like Tyreek Hill is on the game. And it's like, yeah, they still have Jalen Waddle, but like you can clearly tell when Tyreek is not in the game, like just how much it shifts the momentum of the game, and then the
if
defense just kind
Tyreek
of allowed
if
Will Levis
Tyreek's
to
injury
lingers,
lingers, then
throw
that goes
against
up to
them.
like
So
an 8-9
yeah,
because he
not
is
really bought into him.
he is the weapon. Like
If Tyreek's
Tua,
injury lingers, it goes to a 10 for me, and I would give it a
Yeah.
6. But this really showed how much,
Yeah,
not just this
absolutely.
offense, but Tua particularly
mhm.
depends on Tyreek and how much this offense flows through Tyreek, but also their starting center, who's probably their best offensive lineman, tore his ACL. And they do not have a lot of depth on that offensive line. So that's not the guy you want getting hurt at this time of year.
I say that Tyreek should. I really like the way he's been playing and his accolades. First round Hall of Famer or first ballot. Like
I agree.
He is that fantastic. You can
And
you
I
can
think that
see.
he should be in the MVP conversation right there with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, exactly. Like
Definitely.
whoever thinks wide receiver, but yeah, he deserves it because that team runs through him.
All right, let's go to that Sunday night football game. Philadelphia, Dallas. We'll start with the negative side of things. Philadelphia Eagles now have taken 2 straight big losses to good teams. Scale 1 to 10, how concerned are you? That's not a number, Nick.
Not overly. They'll find their way.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry.
honestly, when
7
I
is
mean, I
not
was
very. I
gonna
thought you
get
were going to
to
go a
it,
lot lower than
but
that.
okay. All right. No, never mind. 7. How about that? 7. Just leaving it at that.
For those who can't see his face at home,
Nope,
very
just leaving it at
pouty
7.
face right now.
I pissed him off.
Just say 7.
Yeah, I'll give him like a. I don't know. They intrigue me because the fact that I would say a 6. I would say a 6 as well because
We said
Val-
7.
Nick said 7. I'm saying 6.
Oh.
That offense concerns me, especially against a strong defense. If they can only score, or not even score 20 points against the 49ers and the Cowboys, like that Cowboys game, that could be just chalked up to be good old divisional matchup. But like putting 20 points in a row, and even against the Chiefs game, they only put up 21. Like you need to be able to put points on the board against good D, and if they can't figure that out, which they can, no, they are a very capable team, but if they can't figure that out, they're going to have some issues in the playoffs.
That's a 10. I am very concerned about the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's a 5-alarm fire.
Yeah, seriously. I'm there. They could not stop these teams at all. Their defense might as well have not even been out there. The secondary is Swiss cheese.
The defense, too, is very worrisome.
But Jalen Hurts also, to your point, he looks very indecisive. He just looks, I don't know whether it's the offense.
He's been like that all year, though.
He looks like, he has. He looks like he does not trust what he sees at all. And he just kind of keeps moving to the right until something comes open. And that, or he just throws the ball away. It's been very odd watching Jalen Hurts this year. He's a lot more, I don't know if he got hurt. He's a lot more reluctant to run than he was last year, which is hurting the offense. It's a different guy, and I'm very worried about that.
Like the red zone, the red zone's been very much the red zone's been very much an issue for them, and like that's something where
if they can't get to that 1 yard line,
that's something that used to be their bread and butter, and no, that if they can't, that's something a problem that they need to figure out now because if you want to fix it, like you have the Seahawks game, which would be very interesting next weekend. That got flexed to what was it, Monday Night Football for that one?
I think it's Monday.
Yeah, they got flexed to that one, which I thought was a very good decision. But you have the last 3 games of the Giants, Cardinals, and the Giants. Like you want that's what I'm saying. If you want to that exactly.
Yeah,
And the
they'll get it
Cardinals, like
right
those are
against
some
the Giants.
defenses
Don't
where
worry.
like, all right,
They'll
figure
be
this out
their
now. You have 3 teams to
they'll be
practice against.
their
If they
tune-up games.
can't get
you
it
know,
done by
for
then no,
yeah.
those poles will be on the ground in Philly and not greased.
What about Dallas? How much are you buying into the Dallas Super Bowl stock?
I'm buying in. I've
Yep.
been liking their play as of late. They have really turned around. Dak is finding his mojo again finally. Like I have to say, I know they had a shitty game against the 49ers early in the season, but if they play the 49ers again right now, I would say it'd be a much closer game. Like
Nick?
I said the spread would be like -3. 49.
I
Fair enough.
am legally not allowed to buy into anything Dallas Cowboy related. So I am just going to stand by as they do this December, as they do every other December, hopefully.
I'm
and
somewhere in between you
crash
two
and burn.
because I'm loving what I'm
And
seeing
I
right
will
now.
be there to laugh when it happens.
But I can't get the last decade and a half of Cowboys playoff football out of my head. And I know this is not the Tony Romo Cowboys. This is not Dak and Dez and Zeke. It's a different team. I get that, but I just can't see anybody beating San Francisco right now. I just can't. And Dallas, if they win the NFC East, they're probably going to get Detroit in the first in that second round. And I'd imagine they would beat Detroit and then get San Francisco. If they don't get them, there's a chance that they have to go to San Francisco in the second round, just like they did last year. And I just think the Niners are kind of a tier above everyone else right now.
I would say this about the Cowboys is that no, they had a
I would
close game
agree.
against the Eagles last time in Philly. Yeah, they played okay. And they had a bunch of chump opponents. They had the Giants, the Panthers, and the Commanders. And then we have this slate now where you had your 2 nice home games against the Seahawks, which was a high scoring game, and Dak showed I still got it. And the Eagles, their defense said no to them. But now you're going to be on the road against the Bills, which you just said you think that Dallas is going to lose that game, and you're on the road against the Finns. No, the Finns game I expect them to win because the Finns have just been a there's a saying I wanted to say. I can't remember what the name of it right now. Kind of like an inflatable tank. It looks dangerous, but not really is.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bills game, I'm definitely intrigued about. But like the Lions right now, we said Lions or Cowboys. I'm saying Cowboys hands down. The Lions do not look dangerous to me anymore. Their offense has been sputtering left and right. So like, but yeah, to me, Cowboys 49ers. If 49ers have the home field advantage, of course they're going to be favored. But I still think it's going to be like a coin toss. Like maybe -3, -4 for San Francisco. Like I don't think that would be egregious.
And I feel like we ask this question every week, but it's the dumbest division in football. NFC South. What happens?
I love it. I love the chaos.
You have a 75% chance. You know the Panthers aren't doing it.
I've been on them.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been.
Oh man,
dude, I've been on them all year. I've been on them all year.
I don't think Derek.
The best thing for the Saints would be to not make the
by
playoffs.
default.
Give me Baker, baby.
If the Saints make the playoffs, that might be the worst thing for them because they need a clean house. Dennis Allen, They need to get rid of Derek Carr, and they just need to commit to the rebuild. They should have done it once Breeze retired, but they wanted to continue to try to contend. It hasn't really gotten anywhere for them. They've had a bunch of okay teams. I'm still on Atlanta right now.
Give me the
I
Bucks,
want to
baby.
get to Tampa because Baker has been the best quarterback in that division. And by that, I mean I only slightly think that he should
I
get
hope
benched
it's Atlanta.
because
Exactly.
it's been a horrendous quarterback division. I think Derek Carr should get benched. I think that I don't think they should bench Ritter because
Yep.
they went to Heineke and it didn't go well. Stick with the younger guy, ride it out because at least he's had some good games. He's also had a lot of games where he just doesn't know what team he's supposed to be throwing the ball to. But you ride it out, see what happens. And I think that if they can commit to the run game, Falcons can ride that into the playoffs more consistently than any other team in the NFC South. But Tampa, I've enjoyed watching just the up and down nature of the Bucks, and they've played a lot of very entertaining games this year.
Like Rashad White has been heating up. Mike Evans is still doing Mike
Yeah.
Evans things. And
Rashad
let's be
White is
real.
carrying my fantasy team.
Hey, he was a good pickup in one of my leagues. But the thing is, I don't think they get talked enough. And I've been singing their praises at least this year. Is their defense has still been playing good. Like their defense keeps them in games, and if you give Baker a shot, he could transition for you. And there's only been one game so far this whole season that the team has cracked over 30 points, and that was the wild shootout of the Texans game. That's it.
Yeah.
Every other team has not cracked 30. And that's
that stretch in the middle of the season where you lost 6 of 7. And when that happens, you think, well, you lost 6 of 7. The season's done.
But you're playing in the NFC South.
The most forgiving division in the history of ever? I mean, I can't. The only other division I can think of that's more forgiving is maybe. I'm trying to think if 2010 NFC West was really bad. 2014 NFC South was really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, South's always been
AFC South last year wasn't particularly great, but the Jaguars did deserve to be in the playoffs
NFC South
with the way that they were heating up.
Yeah.
Even
the
2020 NFC East, where the the Washington football team at the time managed to get in and give Tom Brady a scare in the first round.
Yep, that's right.
That's right.
God, there have been some. It's usually NFC, where you have a terrible, terrible division, and some NFC team gets in there with 7 wins and makes the playoffs.
Well, I guess it's ever since Matty Ice has left is when that whole because Ice and Breeze left at the same exact time, and then again the Panthers too lost Cam Newton went down the toilet.
They left, and then Cam left in 2019,
and then Brady left. Sorry,
Cam left in 2020. They moved on from Cam. 2021 was the Saints' first year without Breeze. 2022 was the Falcons' first year without Ryan, and 2023 was the Bucks' first year without Brady. And none of the teams have found answers. The Panthers tried to find the answer with Bryce Young, but that has gone horribly wrong so far this year.
Yep, not one.
Honestly, I think last year's AFC South is actually a really good comparison to that because of the fact you had a rookie in Trevor Lawrence. You had the Colts who had no one at quarterback. Houston had no one at quarterback, and the Titans were just a shell of themselves.
Tannehill got hurt.
Tannehill got hurt, and then you had King Henry.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs try to bring him in, but they didn't deserve to win that division. It was literally that Because one game didn't even matter between the Titans and Jaguars. Like, okay, this game does not matter. We're going to play each other again. Like,
Yeah, they had that. It
was a weird
basically
ending.
a play-in game, but everyone kind of knew that Jacksonville was going to win it, and then they did, and I mean they've kind of rode that momentum. Say what you will about their playoff aspirations this year, but they'll be in the playoffs.
Because I remember that last year was a weird situation with the Jags and Titans where they both played a game that did not matter because they were playing each other. Like, it was like week
second to last game.
Week 15 was like, this game does not matter who wins or loses because no matter what, they're going to be the final game is the only one's going to matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird situation that year. I was like weird quirks and like standings and stuff like that. That's always
and I think that I remember because Jacksonville was like, we're still going to play our starters. We're not going to give anybody rest, even though this game doesn't mean anything. I mean, the next game's the one that means more. You want to try to every coach in that situation, because there are some games where it's like we win, we lose this one, it doesn't really matter. That's happened a few times before. And I remember the Giants did that in 2007. They had a game against the Patriots that didn't really matter, but they were like, "Yeah, we're playing the Patriots. Let's try to give them their first loss of the season." And they went step for step, punch for punch with the Patriots, and rode that momentum into the playoffs, and then beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And I think every coach kind of wants to find that at some point in the end of the year.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something the Cowboys have right now. Maybe it's something that the Bills are holding on to. Maybe the Bengals have it with Jake Browning. Maybe the Jaguars game is the one they show on the Super Bowl DVD.
I mean, we haven't talked about it much, but the Jags have been scaring me right now. Like, they have not looked good.
Oh, God.
Jacksonville, to me, is a
Trevor Lawrence looks like he's still injured.
I would even say lesser version of what Detroit is to me in the NFC. A team that I'm pretty sure is going to win their division. Not going to be any higher than like a 3 seed. And they'll probably win one playoff game. And I don't think they're a threat to do anything else.
Yeah, if that, like.
Yeah, I could see both Jacksonville and Detroit, but especially Jacksonville losing in the first round.
Just
the only thing is, I don't know. Like Jacksonville, they could play a bunch of different teams. Detroit would be playing probably like either Green Bay or the Rams.
Right now, Jacksonville's slated against the Browns. Like,
and they just lost to Flacco.
Yeah. That's like going toss. And
without honestly, Denzel Ward too.
So we'll see how that one goes.
Sure.
Oh. Yep. Well, we've got a lot of really good football coming up this week. We've got a triple header of Saturday games that are all incredibly relevant. You look at the quarterbacks playing, you might be like, Nick Mullins versus Jake Browning. I can miss that one. Well, both teams are 7-6. Mitchell Trubisky versus Gardner Minshew. I can miss that one. Both teams are 7-6. And then the last game is Russell Wilson versus Jared Goff, and both of those teams are very much in the mix. So Saturday, NFL Network triple header. Very, very important.
May not be pretty, but important.
It's going to not be pretty. I think that's a feature in the whole thing. Yeah, it's going to be horrific. I'm going to watch it. Yeah, I might fall asleep, but I am going to be.
It's going to be very ugly.
And
I'll probably forget to even watch it.
I'll
probably forget to watch it, to be honest.
Unearth some more disgusting football. Talk about, hey, maybe the Jets and Giants cling to very, very, very slim playoff hopes and continue the dream as they both go on the road. We'll see what happens. But for Nick Izzo, Connor Vandermark, I'm Mitchell Lee. You've been listening to the Weekly Recess here on Jersey Nerds Productions. Enjoy a fun week of football ahead.
Follow our socials.
Deuces.